Hey guys, it's Grimes from Pandemic Watch. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos and updates on the new coronavirus. Okay, guys, so I'll be explaining 3 ways in which I personally believe the Africans have been spared the full brunt of the coronavirus. Take a look at countries like Italy who have been affected, England, United States. Africa, by all means, has not had such of a large death toll. Now, many people are saying that because Africa does not have the testing kits required to test the new novel coronavirus due to poverty in the region, many people could be walking around with the coronavirus and nobody would know. But I have hold on here. I have some new data on that fact. Let's take a look at the fact that Africa has a non-virgin immunity. This is the first point. Non-virgin immunity. This means that Africa, over the period of a couple hundred years, has been exposed to so many plagues. So many plagues, so many viruses, so many bacterial and pathogen infections over the years that the African community, which includes sub-Saharan Africa especially, has been building up an immunity over the years. Now, as I said in my previous video, you are born with the immunity of your ancestors. So take a look at the sickle cell anemia, sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease. The sickle cell disease came about by the body's way of protecting itself from malaria. What happens is the red blood cells form clusters, and in many cases what they do is they compact into a sickle, which is like a moon-shaped shape compared to a round shape. So they sickle and they crush the pathogen called malaria inside. This is how the body adapts. And over the years, generations and generations would have this particular protection in the form of sickle cell, which is used to protect from the malaria. Africans have been able to adapt in many ways to certain pathogens in certain viruses. Sickle cell anemia being one of the ways in which it adapts to malaria, and is another condition in and of itself. So this is one way. The immunity of the African community is a lot different from the immunity of the Italians, the immunity of the British, the immunity of the persons in the United States, the immunity of the Native Indians up in Alaska. Okay, so the African community has a non-virgin immunity when it comes to certain diseases, and I'll explain some certain stuff. I'll give you an idea about Ebola. Ebola is a virus that came about 2014. It's a new virus, but it has been around for some time, but it recently popped up in Africa in 2014. The thing about Ebola is Ebola has a 50% fatality rate. That's a lot. So if somebody's infected by Ebola, which is a rare disease, by the way, they're going to get symptoms and they will die within at least 12 hours, especially if they haven't gotten treatment. Ebola kills at a 50% rate. Covid-19 is different. Covid-19 kills at 2.3%. This is compared to Spanish flu of the 1918, which is 2.5%. Spanish flu infecting 17 million, killed 17 million to 50 million people back in the day. This is to tell you how dangerous Spanish flu was. Ebola is many times greater than the Spanish flu. So Ebola is a killer virus. The Africans who had the Ebola virus would have built up a very strong immunity. Now, it may not be the immunity to corona because it's two different viruses. It's like taking boxing and karate and wrestling. You put a karate guy against a wrestler, there's going to be problems, right? The karate guy may not understand wrestling. He may not be particularly trained against that particular strain of fighting. It's like the immune system, the virus. If you give somebody a vaccine is basically Is basically a spar for your immune system. You're taking a part of the pathogen, a very small amount, and put it in the person's body, and what happens is the body develops antibodies. It's a trial test run. So with the flu, you have to get all the different strains of flu, H1N1, different kind of rhinoviruses, and you have to hit the body with all these different kind of stuff to be able to get a consummate flu vaccine. Ebola, on the other hand, is different from the flu, but the fact that a lot of Africans have faced these things in the past means that the immunity will be a lot stronger compared to somebody who's in Italy. The Africans also have experienced stuff like the HIV plague and many other things too that they've experienced, so the immunity is very strong. Another thing I want to bring about when it comes to virgin immunity is an important factor. The fact that the Africans have a lot of colonies, as I mentioned earlier, DR Congo, you take a look at the French colonies, Côte d'Ivoire, a lot of places in sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, all of these places have been colonized by either the Arabics, the Arabs, the British, the Portuguese, which is Angola. There are other places, the Chinese to some extent have been in Africa. So Africa is a very multinational country, very open. It's like a melting pot of many different people, right? Even though the people are generally considered black, it's a melting pot of many different people. And as a result, many different people would have brought their strain of flu. Compared to if you take a look at Iran, which is a different society altogether. Iran is more closed off. It's blocked off, and there are not many colonies. No, Iran hasn't colonized anybody as much. So as a result, the people there would not be used to the coronavirus. Non-virgin immunity. I want to go on to the next reason is a very important reason, and it's pretty much the opposite of why Italy is experiencing this plague. Italy has a temperate climate. Climate is the main culprit. Africa, on the other hand, does not have a temperate climate. The climate is hot. The coronavirus operates on what is called a viral belt. The viral belt goes along the equator, right? Along the latitudinal zones, along the equator. So if you take a look at certain places that will be affected, would be temperate regions such as Jamaica, South United States, Mid-United States, up North United States. You see places like Rome being affected because of this temperate zone. China, any place that's temperate, slightly cold, cool, the coronavirus can breed and multiply. Africa is arid, it's hot, it's sub-Saharan. So they're going to be, the coronavirus is not going to be able to replicate in such hot and arid environments. Also, the immune system works at its optimum in warm temperatures. So in warm temperatures, such as Africa, the immune system is at its best. I'm speaking to people who are in the Congo, who are in the Caribbean right now, in Venezuela locations. These are places on the equator. And as a matter of fact, the infection rate of the COVID-19 is so low there, even though people may be affected. Nobody's dying and nobody's spreading because the immune systems are working at optimum in these dry, hot temperatures. Compared to if it's cold, the cold suppresses the immune system, and as a result, people are more prone to seasonal flu, rhinoviruses, the common cold, and most importantly, corona. Temperature is a major reason why Africa hasn't been affected. And I want to bring up one more point. South Africa is being heavily affected right now by the coronavirus. It's very affected because South Africa is lower latitude. You take a look at Australia. One woman has died so far from Australia. One woman. So these places are also temperate regions because they're lower of the equator. Anything along the equator belt, under or above the equator, are called the viral belt, which is what is COVID-19 is affecting these people. Anything along the equator, such as the Congo, Venezuela, places like these, the Caribbean, they are not going to be as affected as much. Africans especially. So this is why you haven't heard of a lot of COVID-19 cases in Africa. The last one I want to bring down is obviously the social norms. The social norms of Africa. This is one of the main reasons why Africans have not been affected. Now, in Africa, there's not many cigarettes. Okay, and compared to Rome, Italy, Italians smoke a lot, especially in the province of Lombardy, north of Italy. They have a lot of money and they're able to buy a lot of cigarettes. Cigarettes affects the lungs. It affects the lining of the lungs. So it's going to affect the way your body processes and handles the coronavirus. Anybody who has virgin lungs is not going to be affected by the coronavirus. So if your lungs are being irritated by inflammation over the years, by smoking cigarettes, most likely you're going to have a hard time battling the coronavirus. Italians are heavy smokers. Africa, on the other hand, there are not many smokers in Africa, to be honest, because nobody really has access to cigarettes. More access to alcohol. Cigarettes is not a staple in Africa. So as a result, the immune systems, with regards to the pulmonary immune systems, could hold strong when it comes to coronavirus. Another social norm, which is the third point I'm going to bring in, is the fact that Africa is very, how to put it, people in Africa are very open. So they're you know, there are a lot of contact. A lot of the people are, you know, could be known for being a bit promiscuous. So there's a lot of STDs in Africa. And this is common news. The fact that Africa is very exposed to STDs means that people are always in contact with people of different races, different societies, whether they be white, black, Chinese, they all intermingle and, to be honest, interbreed in Africa. And as a result, consistent exposure to different people, different partners, touching, contact, is going to increase one's immunity regardless. Now, obviously, I don't condone promiscuous behavior, but this is just facts. The immunity is going to be a lot stronger when it comes to dealing with foreigners bringing this new COVID-19 virus. Guys, we're in for a storm, bro. We're in for a big storm. I'm not too sure if the people of Africa or the people of the world are aware of what's going on. I could hope, and I could only give you an idea of where COVID-19 is going to hit next. According to geography, science. I'm a scientist, guys. If you take a look at the videos in my channel, a lot of the videos code, JavaScript. I've built code to track this stuff, man. Pandemic Watch is an organization that I'm building. And it's going to be used to track, using code, computer science, to track where a virus is going to be spread. I know what's happening, guys. I know what the media is hiding stuff from you. The media doesn't want you to know that the countries to the south or along the equator will not be affected by the coronavirus. They don't want you to know that. They want to keep the fact that these countries will be affected so they could be in the same boat as them. But again, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I'm not going to be non-biased. I'm just telling you the facts, what's going on. It could be anything. I'm just being 100% factual, bro. The media is not telling you certain things. But we must be aware, even though the Africans may have an advantage compared to other places, that does not mean that people along the equator should take this for granted. It doesn't mean so, because this stuff is going to spread. If we're not careful, it's going to creep in the summer, slow down in the summer because of the heat, and it's going to come back in the winter, guys. This stuff is going to return. It's going to be mutate in the winter. Please, guys, watch my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm showing you some new stuff. I'm bringing out some new tips that's going to stop this virus. Zinc. Certain things that they're telling you vitamin C. No, it's not vitamin C. Zinc is the way. Certain herbs that I'm making right now and I'm picking from the garden, I'm going to bring these out and I'm going to be showing you what you could use to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Okay? So if you follow my channel, keep following, keep the updates. This stuff is going to mutate, guys. This stuff is going to mutate. This stuff is not over. The markets are crashing. Financial markets are crashing. People are staying home. They're not going to work anymore. This stuff is gonna hit hard. People are gonna run out of food. When people run out of food, they're malnutritioned, their immune systems are weak. Virus is gonna hit hard in the summer. We have not seen the ramifications of what's gonna happen next. We're only seeing the first step, the tip of the iceberg. The ramifications are coming in the next few months, guys. When the markets are low, when everything is low, when the food shortages are down, this is the next Great Depression coming up. This is not no Great Recession. They're lying. The Great Depression. You know, that's what the countries above the equator want you to believe. But it's a Great Depression is coming up. And they don't want to tell you that. People are home, people are going to be malnutritioned, and this stuff is going to hit back so hard in the winter, just like the Spanish flu did. Just like the Spanish flu did. It hits so hard in the winter. And I'm scared, guys. I'm really scared for what's going to happen. So again, like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to be helping you guys all. Peace, guys.